A 43-year-old father from Victoria has become the latest victim of Australia's deadly flu season. Astonishingly, he'd been vaccinated against the flu, raising serious questions about just how effective that vaccine is. 192 people have died from the flu around Australia this year, and the number of recorded cases is more than double the total of last year. Sunrise GP Dr Ginny Mansberg is here. Ginny, this is so concerning. He was in his 40s. He was a nurse who had been vaccinated. How does he die from the flu?
It's just devastating for everybody. Obviously, he's not in the main target group that we normally see dying from the flu. That's normally very elderly people, often who are in aged care facilities. We do see it in children, particularly if you have a low immune system, and this didn't apply in any way to this guy. So normally when we talk about the effectiveness of the flu vaccine, it sits somewhere around 50% for pregnant women, up to about 59% for people. It drops off as you get older, but no vaccine is perfect. And it does depend on your immunity and also the match of the virus to what's in the vaccine.
And also, it's not a definite insurance policy, so you need to be very careful with hygiene.
Yeah, and we want to reduce the amount of flu in the community by hopefully having as many people vaccinated as possible, so we just don't get flu running rampant through the community.
Asking for a friend, you can still get it when you're pregnant, can't you?
Really,
you should get the vaccination.
You should. It's one of those key times where the government pays for it. That's how much we want you to have it.
Europe is sweltering through an intense heat wave with temperatures reaching record highs in France. Around 4,000 schools across France were shut while hours of public pools were extended. Areas recorded temperatures in excess of 45 degrees, 1 degree higher than the previous record set in 2003. Tourists in Paris were able to keep cool while sightseeing, taking a quick dip in the fountains in front of the Eiffel Tower.
A Sydney visual designer has come up with a clever way to fit the Sydney rail network on the back of your Opal card. Sarah Tan has created an augmented reality app that displays the City rail map whenever your phone camera detects your Opal card. It's just a prototype at this stage, but could be a feature in a Sydney Trains app of the future.
The Deputy Premier says he doesn't want to be known as the Deputy Premier. John Barilaro is demanding a title change as he ramps up a war of words between the National Party and its coalition partner, the Liberals.
With friends like this,
I'm sure there will be a few people that like for me to lose my voice.
The Liberal Party is risking a new enemy.
Our coalition partners need to work harder for our support.
John Barilaro addressing the National Party faithful, lashing out at his coalition partners.
No longer will we allow decisions of government to be able to hide behind the weasel words of bean counters in Treasury.
It comes after a post-election power grab saw the Liberal Party gain more control over the state's coffers and major decision-making. Giving a speech to mark 100 days since the election, the Premier didn't see this coming.
Cementing New South Wales as a global leader.
She cancelled media events after her speech. The Labor Party has its own troubling issues. It's had a brutal campaign to choose between two potential future leaders. There have been leaks, smears, political hits, and possibly after tomorrow's decision, recriminations.
But we do find unity and purpose in forming government in 2023, and all of us have that in mind.
The MPs will vote for either Jodie McKay or Chris Minns tomorrow. The state should have a new opposition leader by sunset. Sean Berry, 7 News.
The family of murdered beauty queen Bronwyn Richardson is hoping a new $1 million reward will help find her killer almost half a century on. The 17-year-old was abducted near the Victoria border, raped and dumped in the Murray River. Police believe they know who did it, but desperately need witnesses to come forward.
The passage of time hasn't healed old wounds for Bronwyn Richardson's sisters. It reminds them of her, looking down at the watch Bronnie was wearing when she was killed 46 years ago.
We grieve daily for Bronnie and for the life that she never got to live.
In October 1973, Bronwyn was abducted in Albury, aged just 17, bashed, raped, strangled, then dumped in the Murray River.
That is a brutal end. It's disgraceful. As a father of young girls, I find this horrendous. I don't know how I would survive.
Bronwyn's mum describes it as
living in hell. Hell on hell. My mother wakes up every single night and has done for 46 years screaming.
4 people have been unsuccessfully charged in relation to the beauty queen's death. A murder charge against Colin Newey in 2014 was later dropped.
Police are confident they know who killed Bronwyn, but need witnesses believed to have helped cover up the horrific crime to come forward. And they're hoping an increased reward of $1 million will encourage them to do just that.
Bronwyn's family won't inscribe RIP on her headstone, nor her father's, until justice is served.
She can't rest in peace because she hasn't received peace.
Alex Hart, 7 News.
Well, after being exposed after their shocking behaviour, our biggest banks are about to bring in major changes in the way they deal with your personal finances. 7 News has taken a look at the new rules, which start Monday, and promise to end an era where even dead customers weren't safe.
Blind, sick and ripped off. Bank victims who lost everything.
Don't have a home of our own.
Now the Banking Royal Commission's shame turns to pain, with our big banks adopting new rules that will cost them cash.
They recognise that they really do need to respond with action.
Under the new code, banks promise to stop on-the-spot selling of insurance with credit cards and personal loans, stop offering unsolicited credit limit increases, and to send reminders when a discount rate is about to end.
1.9 million Australians have problematic credit card debt. Credit card debt is a big problem.
They also promise to make switching banks easier, be upfront about fees before they are charged. And after being busted charging the dead, banks will no longer bill for services that aren't provided.
The code today makes it crystal clear that is unacceptable.
Banks will also stop charging commissions on lenders' mortgage insurance.
I don't think that the community would stand for the banks having to pick up lost profits in other places.
The Royal Commission attacked the banks for putting profits before people. While the new code aims to change that, the banks have a long road ahead to win back the shattered trust of Australians.
A world-first test has been developed in Sydney which flags future preventable serious medical issues in newborn babies. It uses DNA sequencing to test for dozens of conditions, including those associated with SIDS and heart disease, and it's hoped it could one day be available around the world.
It takes less than a minute, but is giving KAVANAGH a lifelong look into her son's future. A mouth swab which holds a chain of clues into a baby's genetic makeup.
If I can find anything that's wrong potentially with Rian or will be in the future that I can help fix now, let's do it.
Fortunately, Rian was all clear, but this test could have life-changing implications for others. It extracts DNA, then targets specific genes looking for abnormalities. The test can identify more than 60 medical conditions, including those associated with SIDS, heart, lung and liver diseases, and issues with growth and development. If there's a positive result, parents can then consider preventative treatment, such as a bone marrow transplant or medication.
We now have the ability to identify problems in genes so that we can change the whole trajectory of a baby's life.
But it isn't cheap. Depending on how many conditions are being tested for, it costs between around $500 and $1,000, and there's no Medicare or private health rebate. The New South Wales government sees plenty of potential, and there are hopes the test could one day be available worldwide.
This has the opportunity to really put peace of mind into parents when they have newborns, as well as being something that we can export to the world.
Nina Stevens, 7 News.
Well, a court has heard the true sinister motive behind an arsonist's campaign of lighting fires during our hottest and most dangerous months. Volunteer firefighter Joshua Lampkin has admitted asking his brother to light bushland in the Hunter Valley so he'd be paid when his unit was called out, putting lives and homes at risk.
Joshua Lampkin is fit to run a few blocks from court to keep you from seeing his face.
How much were you paid to light those fires?
But he's no longer fit to be a firefighter, betraying the community he was paid to protect just to pocket some extra cash, paid more money when called out to fight the very fires he conspired with his brother to light.
What do you want to say to all the people whose lives you put at risk?
The prosecutor insisted the judge watch 7 News broadcasts of the January 2017 fires, temperatures above 40 degrees in heatwave conditions, as they argued he should be locked up today.
Firefighters battled the flames, threatening lives and property.
Across 2 days, Joshua and his younger brother Craig discussed how and where to light 4 separate fires, putting homes at Kurri Kurri under serious threat.
I am so proud of my husband.
Craig was caught red-handed. His brother Joshua arrested 6 months later. The pair was to go to trial in March this year, but finally admitted to being firebugs.
Like his brother Craig, who's already behind bars, Joshua Lampkin has been warned there is a very high possibility he will be going to jail too. Despite that, he was allowed to walk free from court today, his bail continuing because his brother is in jail. That means there's very little chance that he'll be able to team up with him to continue lighting fires.
They'll be sentenced in September. Evan Batten, 7 News.
Jessica Carroll has sent out her invitations. She can almost hear wedding bells. Instead, alarm bells, because something is missing.
You're thinking, well, am I going to have a dress or aren't I?
Jessica paid a deposit of around $800 for a dress from MacArthur Brides in October. They told her the order would take a few weeks.
She made me feel comfortable in buying it with her, and now I just feel like she's just let a lot of brides down.
As 7 News revealed last night, Denise Lom and her husband Martin told brides they had moved the dresses because of a dust issue when in fact they hadn't paid the rent. They also have issues with a supplier, Island Jade, who they've owed $730 for 8 months. Do you just want to come and answer these questions properly?
Anyway, buddy, I'm telling you now, just pay off and F off.
7 News understands rent has now been fully paid up to date. The Loms had until 2 p.m. this afternoon to collect all of their things, but never showed up. Brides wanting a refund have been told they can get their deposits back, but it will cost them a 30% administration fee.
All the girls have been contacted, there's no issues there. I'm moving out, mate.
Jessica is beginning to think Denise and Martin are getting cold feet.
I want to know, is it going to come?
Tom Saker, 7 News.
A new report reveals savvy customers are saving up to $600 a year by doing better deals on gas and electricity, but they're being subsidised by those without the time or patience to search a market that's become complex and confusing.
Fruiterer Joe Galuzzo runs the shop his grandfather started nearly 90 years ago. It's never been more challenging, especially meeting energy costs.
We've changed because of the simple reason of the cost. The cost was exorbitant.
Nearby, bakery owner Mark Zeng's power bill is $10,000 a year. Switching hasn't worked.
Not worked because you waste your time. With you frustrate,
A new report suggests it's not always wasted. New South Wales customers can save up to $584 a year, with 32 retailers now fighting for your business, while the market share of the big three has fallen to 84%, down 4%. But customer satisfaction has fallen 6%, perception of value down 1%, and hardship cases up 14%.
It's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle out there for people to try and find what are the best deals.
Confusing products that mean
about 20% of people are funding the really good discounts for about 80% of people.
The report does warn heavily marketed discounted offers may not necessarily be the best deals. Non-discount ones may be better and not include tough pay-on-time requirements.
Discounts are really a late payment fee in disguise, and bigger discounts are just a bigger late payment fee.
The return of energy price regulation next week is expected to make comparisons easier. Chris Marr, 7.
Europe is sweltering through an intense heat wave with temperatures reaching record highs in France. Around 4,000 schools across France were shut while hours of public pools were extended. Areas recorded temperatures in excess of 45 degrees, 1 degree higher than the previous record set in 2003. Tourists in Paris were able to keep cool while sightseeing, taking a quick dip in the fountains in front of the Eiffel Tower.